Hey guys, so welcome to my next live boss commentary. So this week I've been told to do Bandos because I know in my last live commentary at the King Black Dragon, everyone was like, since I talked so long about Bandos, everyone was like, oh my god, you talked about Bandos so long, you've got to do it next week. So I was like, oh well, good chance, bonus XP weekend, people are skilling. Found a world, first world, so it's true, it was easy to find a world. So I've decided to come and use the range prayer method in full Graardor, as I did before. So let's see how this goes, really. So I'm gonna overload up. I didn't really get much choice for topics from the comments this week. However, I asked in my friends chat and people said like talk about bossing in Runescape and how it's changed, kind of thing. So yeah, I'm gonna do that. So let's prearrange and go in. Let's kill this thing. Get my nips out. Oh my god, it's already like half dead. Good fight. Well, that's probably a bit of an exaggeration. Only a bit. I love this method, it's so much more fun. Come on, come on. Sad shit's back. First one was decent though, not going bad. So, bossing in RuneScape. Now, obviously, a long time ago, there was pretty much only Kalphite Queen and King Black Dragon and Chaos Ellie. They were the earliest bosses. And really, back then, it was like, that was so limited. Because if you think about how you kill them now, nowadays, they're just like nothing. They're just... the drops of them, it just makes them not worth doing. People will only do it for fun at most, because of the fact that literally they are a waste of time to do. Just, oh my god, I can't put my nip on the thing because it's just like, if you've ever been to Bandos, you'll get that glitch all the time. You'll kill the boss and underneath where the boss was, it'll disappear while like the while it waits. I don't get it whatsoever. But it just happens, and it's annoying because you want to attack the minion and you can't. So obviously there was like Kalphite Queen and things, but back then they were obviously incredibly hard. I mean, even today the Kalphite Queen is still like for only level 333. Well, I think it's 333. It's an incredibly hard boss. I'm not gonna lie. The accuracy of that thing, it's every range attack is pretty much no point using it there. Every range attack is so damn accurate. It's literally, without a divine, you can't reduce the damage. Even in full Torvar, like pretty much your defense is not good enough. It's like it'll just hit through anyway. Its attack accuracy is pretty much 100%. Very, very rarely hits zeros. Apart from its melee, that can. But obviously, today's gear, like if you use like Storm of Armadillo for the second form, or even just range it in Pernix, you can get it down a lot faster. Like, obviously before, they didn't even have Barrow's gear, you had to sit there and use the shitty gear, like D-Sims and stuff, and it was incredibly hard. I mean, considering how accurate it is, I mean, the best way to do it is obviously Divine, because Divine, no matter how, it's not based on defense, it just reduces damage, literally, by a percentage, hence why it's so perfect, because every one of them 300 hits is going to come down to like 100, 200-ish. When you factor in everything. Holy shit. 338, no thanks to that. Come on, Dreadnought. I wonder if I've got any spec. I know I used double in the first. Oh yes, got a spec. Oh yes. That's not bad, not bad. So like, bosses are like, the KQ's really changed. I mean, nowadays if you go in like full Torva first form, melee it down, then just switch to full Virtus, you've got life point boosts, you've got everything you could possibly need to just aid the kill. Now, actually, I just want to say, like, none of my live boss commentaries I've got a drop yet, or not. Like, I know I haven't really done any bosses that have a major drop, but maybe I can get one here. I've been really dry at Bandos lately, so hopefully I do get something. It'd be pretty cool to get something on video. I remember when James from RuneShark was doing, you know, the item of the week, and he does one trip to Bandos like to get backing footage of him killing this, and he actually got the Bandos chestplate from a minion. I was like, fuck it, I've never had one. I've done probably like 25k Bandos kills, as I discussed in my last video, and yeah, I've never seen that. Every time it's a minion drop, it's because somebody's crashed me and they've got the drop off, things like that. I've had a Tassets, and many boots, but never BCP. It's pretty insane for him to get that, to be fair. But going to this now, going to Bandos, like, this has even changed. Like, when this came out, no summoning. Can you imagine, really, like, doing this without summoning? I mean, it's a central role in everything that you do in bossing now. I mean, imagine Nex without something. Yak pretty much is what makes you last. If you don't have a Yak, you do not last whatsoever. I know some pro teams at Nex now actually, because Nex is obviously, when it first came out, the tactics took a while to develop, as you can understand, and they're still changing all the time. There's finding out new little lure spots and things to stand to improve the killing of the minions and things. But like pro teams now, if you've got a completion escape, you'll do like a 4-man completion escape team, and you'll just take Unicorn, and you'll take about 5 brews and do about 5 kills. It's insane, like the things you can do nowadays compared to before. Going back to God Wars, like I never actually went on release. I was quite a low combat level, and I never really liked bossing. I always just believed in skills. I always thought drops from bosses would be too rare to be like too rare, you know. And it's like you'll never get anything knowing my luck. But obviously they have got decent drop rates, and you can get enough kills pretty fast that you do see them pretty often. Like I remember my first ever trip was like a 5-man like coin share with loads of friends. Didn't get anything first trip, it was like 15 kills. Second trip, first kill, Bandos chest plate, like 3 mil. It was like, oh my god, so happy. But that was like back then. The average player wasn't like 138 now as it is now. Most players are like high combat level and have the top gear, and back then it was pretty much we all had fruit bats and we used Bandos God Swords. Obviously Chaotix didn't exist, and Chaotix changed bossing to hell. I mean, back then it was God Swords and AGS if you could afford one. Like AGS was like 120 mil because it was pretty much the best weapon to use at most bosses. Like I had Bandos God Sword, and in about a week and a half, 2 weeks, I had enough money for an AGS, so I voted AGS, and I felt I was so good because, like, any team on the forums for Bandos, I'd be like, I've got an AGS, and they'd be like, oh my god, in! Because it was just the best weapon to have for it. And I used to use a fruit bat. Now, fruit bat, if you don't know what it does, the scroll of it drops many fruits around you, and not every time, but almost every time, it'll drop fruits, and always one of them is a papaya if it drops fruits. And the papaya heals a decent amount of HP. I think it's like possibly 60, something like that. Possibly 80. It might be, I'm not sure, but it's a decent amount. And you can get them. Oh shit, I better brew. And that melee can actually hit pretty hard. Just obviously my defense means it doesn't hit very often, but its max hit is still high. That's the problem. Oh, good fight. See, if you can see this method, it's pretty nice. Takes Bandos down pretty nice. But like, so you can see how Bandos has improved clearly. Like, to go from using Bandos God Swords and just when Chaotix come out, like they're so powerful. They're pretty much, you see in the drop in like God Sword prices. Look at Bandos God Sword nowadays, 3 mil, 2 millish maybe. I'm not sure. I know AGS is like 22 mil or something now. That is ridiculous, thinking that it used to be 100 mil. Even Saradomin God Sword. I mean, that's never had a use in game, I swear. But if I go into Slayer, which is a bit off topic really, like Slayer back in the day, you had to use Guffins, and then obviously summoning really nerfed Guffins. Bunyips just were immense for a task, but even like a pretty low summon level, and the healing from a Bunyip would just make it so easy. But before, you had to take either your full Guffins and use Guffins for the task, or take a Guffin switch and just switch to Guffins to heal, because otherwise you couldn't do it in an infinite of just regular food. Because obviously you couldn't use Sora Brews as food because you didn't have overloads. Sora Brews were just not practical because you couldn't pot with them. Holy shit, wasn't ready for that. Pray. I should withdraw from my Yak, but I need a claw spec first. Get that out. Double claw spec this bar. It's not a bad spec. But Armadill's even worse. I mean, Armadill back in the day you had what? When Armadill came out, obviously you just had full Armadill that you could obviously get there, and that was the best gear. But obviously not everyone could get that because it was not practical for everyone to get that. Watch me drop coins of course. So it was very difficult to get teams obviously in full Armadill, and it was of course pretty damn expensive back then because Armadill was one of the hardest ones to, like, I think back then. Obviously Corp wasn't out, which hence, and Divine and Ellie and even Eagle Eye Kite Shield from Dungeoneering rewards are insanely good at Armadill. They're very useful and they can really help you last pretty much without having to use a single brew. Just a unicorn makes you last there nowadays. But back then, obviously you had to take brews and It's the only god. I think it's the only God Wars boss monster that doesn't drop prayer pots or super restores. So prayer really is a tough thing to last out there. So most of your trips are determined by how long your prayer lasts. And back then, obviously, no extremes, no familiars. Can you imagine doing Armadillo with no familiars when you had to take food and you had to take prayer because you ran out of prayer? I mean, Bandos has got a pretty common drop rate of 3 for those super restores. You'll get them quite often. I don't know if I'm really talking about the history of bossing. I'm kind of just going into bossing itself. Kind of just discussing everything. I hope you are finding it interesting. But it's like, it's just changed now. To think that back in the day, you didn't have overloads and things. Last thing at Bandos, it was very difficult solo. Like, I mean, the typical person would take just a full familiar of like Rockdale or Sharks and fill up all the inv with Sharks after the potions, and you'd get about 2 or 3 kills a trip. I remember one trip I got 5 kills and I was like so happy. It was the trip I first got a hill. Like, I mean, I did about 1 whole week of solo Bandos, just doing it all day long. Obviously you had to get kill counts so many times because the trips were so short, but eventually after about 200 kills I got boots, and the next trip I got hilled, and hill back then was the best item, and I still for like 26 mil. It was just so happy to think that you put so much time into something and then get a drop out of it. I actually forgot to bring Ring of Wealth. That's my bad. Not gonna get a drop now, am I? Holy shit. Holy shit. See. KO. Right, let's see what my loot is now. Come on, Bandos chestplate. Go on, just give us something nice. Effigy? Oh my god! They're rare now. Like, I heard the drop rate from Glacials is like 1 in 450. Like, from people just averaging the drop rates and things. And I had to get something on video, but that'll do. Effigy's not bad. I've been pretty decent. I'm pretty lucky with effigies since the update, actually. Like, I got one from Sarah, I got one from Zami. Got quite a few, I'm not gonna lie. But obviously I've got none. It would be quite interesting to know the drop rate, but I know in the question and answer, Modmark just failed to answer anything about it. It's just like, not changing it, not changing it. But somebody actually asked, like, what the drop rate of the effigy is now, or how much it's been reduced, and he just completely blanked the question and said not going to be changing anything to do with it. It's like, yeah, that's nice of you. I mean, you just completely ignored the question. It's just, I don't see why they're so reluctant. I don't see what the problem with telling you the drop rate of something, because considering we knew the drop rate of the effigy before, we worked it out. I assume it's going to be a lot harder to work out now because you don't have much to go off because you barely ever get them. Oh shit, why did I drink Super Restore and pray at the altar at the same time? That was pretty damn dumb of me. Like, and even things like this, Dreadnoks. If I look at my gear, right, and compare it to what before, you'd have no Steadfast, no Onyx Ring, no Goliath Gloves, no Ganodermic, Fury existed, no Completion Escape, no Auras, no Shield, and no Weapon. So you can see everything's been improved, I mean, apart from Fury. And that's why I think when the new bosses come out, the Queen Black Dragon or the King Kalphite, maybe we'll drop like a new Ami. Or a new gem, possibly. A new gem could be more interesting because obviously you could make many different types of jewelry that could do different things and possibly not all be related to combat. But a new Fury would be nice. I mean, mobilizing armies as well. The top rewards for Completion Escape is 401. However, to access the top reward floor, you only need 300, which to me makes little sense. So I've always thought they'd do another floor for enchanting amulets, like, and possibly be able to get an Onyx Amulet Eye. Like, that'd be better than a Fury. Now that'd be pretty cool to me, I think. Just something to give you an extra little bonus. Possibly not as big of an increase as the other one, maybe not double, but some little bonus. But that amulet slot could do with an improvement. I know the Fury is incredibly overpowered already. I mean, its stats are amazing, but anything could happen. And I'm tailing, of course, again, I'm not really talking about the history of boxing. You're like, what the hell? But back when it was just KBD and stuff, it wasn't really bossing. People didn't do it that well. People did it, but it wasn't really seen as a very good money-making method because people were so low combat that it was hard to get decent kills. I mean, the price of like Kalphite Queen was the first one to really have a drop that was worth a lot of money. Like Dragon Chain back in the day was obviously like 30 mil and things like that. Get this effigy open. Just can't get another one, a decent drop rate until I do. I normally put that on Herbalo, I think. Oh, I can't do the next one. Good fight. So, like, Kalphite Queen was the first one to drop like a very unique drop, Now I know KBD drops like the D med, but that's universal and it's dropped by everything. I've already got one out. But it's just the KBD drops D med quite common. But D med has always been pretty cheap. Like I remember when I first bought my first one, it was already like 400k. Now that's a lot more than it is today. But better get more brews. Holy shit! Don't want to die on while recording. That would be not very exciting. Not very pleasant for me. But so Kalphite Queen dropped the D chain. That was obviously like worth 30 mil, and it gave people an incentive to go to go to Kalphite Queen. Now I think I'm not sure exactly what the D chain drop rate is, but I know it's not too rare. Like possibly 1 in 50, 1 in 60, something around that. While that does seem low, to think to get that many Kalphite Queen kills is not easy because of the fact it's so difficult. And it also drops the Dragon 2H. Now, I'm not sure how much, I think that's about around 1 mil. So that, I'm not sure what it was back in the day when D-Chain was like 30 mil, but obviously that was dropped by the Chaos Alley as well. But I've had a D-Chain from, not a D-Chain, D2H from KQ, but I've never had the D-Chain. I've done quite a lot. Like, I did record some, I did do a trip there and recorded a lot of it. I got no loot. Like I'm trying to do bosses for my Road to 1 build drop tab, and I'm just getting nothing. So it's like I want to release an episode, but I just can't because I've got no drops to show you. I've got a couple of print screens of some, but every time I record, I just go suddenly dry. It's just such bad luck when recording. So I think I'm gonna end it there, guys. And I hope you've enjoyed watching. I know I didn't really talk too much about the history. I just talked about bossing in general. But I hope you've enjoyed this little discussion, and please do not forget to post the suggestion for next week's boss and next week's topic. Please make sure you try and include a topic and a boss, because this week I didn't really get many topics. I got a couple, but there was no like thumbs up on them, and they didn't really sound interesting topics to me. So I didn't really want to talk to them because I don't want to talk about something that I don't find very interesting. Because obviously I don't know much about it, then what's the point of me talking about it? Because I can't tell you anything that you don't already know. So I'll do this kill, come on. Let's see if I can get something. I've already got a nip out, I don't know why I'm clicking that. Better brew, better brew. Holy shit. Get more out, get more out. Come on, keep ranging Bandos. Oh, why? Typical, the kill, that's going to be my last kill, it just decides to own me. And I keep forgetting to open my effigy, I think it's because I'm taking too long over my minions. Don't have a chance to stand still. Holy shit. That was actually, I'm going to mention something about it. Back in the day, the spawn rates of these were slower, but after they removed bots, after a while, they changed the drop rates to be faster for all the bosses in God Wars, pretty much. And that was because, obviously, bots plagued the worlds. They made the worlds really full. And since the worlds were really full, then that ensured spawn rates are fast, since it's based on the amount of people in the world. And so when they were removed, it went really slow. And I mean, people want the fastest spawns so that you can get more kills per hour. So I don't see personally why it's based on the number of people in the world. I understand for resources maybe, because there might be more people competing over it, but I don't see the need for this. I've got the bones. And that's actually I want to mention another thing. Loot share and coin share obviously weren't there on release, and people it was all FFA, so really it was tough. Because people didn't want to go because it was packed full of higher levels, and that put people off because they were getting no drops, obviously, because the higher levels are obviously going to do more damage and get the drop. And I'm not sure if free trade was out when God Wars was released. I'm not sure if it was released when exactly. No, God Wars was released before GE, so there was no free trade. There was free trade. So obviously you could share your drops with your friends, however obviously people could scam, anything could happen if you plan to share it personally. So the loot share system was a major overhaul for the bossing community, because people could split and share without the fear of being scammed, and that was really it really inspired more people to start bossing. Like the God Wars was the biggest boss update ever, and it really put in bosses in RuneScape. And another update like that would be something like, I mean, they're not the best bosses, there's not much to them really. I mean, all it is a boss. All this does is use a range attack and a melee attack, and it's pretty high level. I mean, it's nothing like Nex. Nex has so many unique attacks, it must have took a lot longer to develop. And this, it's like, there's not much to it. I mean, I know they did 4 at once, Like Zami has a few special attacks like draining your prey, it hits through prey every so often with melee and things like that. And Sara is insanely powerful. Don't think there's not really much to say about Sara. It's just mage and melee. This is range and melee, and Kree is range and mage. Zami being mage and melee, and all have like a few special attacks. Some of them have a little special attack or whatever. Some of them don't. But there weren't really much to them. They were just like high level monsters. Kind of like KQ is just incredibly high level and accurate. They didn't think about doing it. Although the one unique thing about KQ is that it has 2 forms. That was something different that had not been, I don't think, been done before. And that was pretty cool because it was just, it gave it a bit more to it than just standing and killing something. But you can see the improvement in the bosses. Like if KVD was a boss, come on, all it is a dragon. It has a few different attacks that it just attacks a full styles and that's it. It doesn't really do anything and it's so low HP. It's just so easy nowadays. So yeah, I'm gonna end it there, guys. I mean, I've went on for 21 minutes now. How did I do that? I mean, I think this is probably the longest one yet. But I hope you do enjoy it. Don't forget to suggest for next week, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow for another video. Have a good night.